Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. Today I'm going to be recommending you some short books that will get you out of a slump. I got a ton of comments recently about shorter books that will really kickstart your reading for the year, or unfortunately a lot of people are finding themselves in reading slumps at the very beginning of this year. So I wanted to recommend some books to combat that. I also mentioned in my how to read more video, which should have just gone up, reading novellas and short story collections and reading just fast-paced books is a great way to kind of inspire yourself to read more and to get more books in to kind of keep your pace as you're trying to meet your new year reading goal. This is not going to be a top 12 video. There are all different variations of ratings of books in this video. These are not like my best of the best, but they are the fastest paced, shortest books that are guaranteed to get you out of the slump that you may be in, or at least that's what they did for me. But before we get into the video, I do want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Temu. If you don't know, Temu is an online marketplace that has super affordable prices on a wide variety of different products. There is free shipping, savings of up to 90% off, and they offer free returns within 90 days. It is a super affordable and accessible option for people who need that. Like, I know a lot of my teacher friends use Temu to stock their classrooms, which is super great. And it is one of the top free apps in the App Store, which I will link down below if you want to check out their app. And they have such high quality items, especially for the price. I'm going to be showing you a little bit of a haul of stuff that I got from Temu, including this adorable Valentine's Day heart sweater, perfect for something festive but not totally breaking the bank. And if you want to shop any of the products that I show you that I hauled in this video, they will be at my link down below. You can find them in the app. And along with that, if you use my link and my code that I will put on the screen now, you can get a massive coupon bundle that you can get like between $100 and $200 off. Like, this is wild, that amount of savings on top of the already affordable prices. And now I'll show you some of the amazing stuff that I got from Temu. Of course, starting with the sweater, super thick and high quality, super soft. I really love it, especially for Valentine's Day. I'm also kind of in my indie sleaze era for 2024. I mean, I've stayed in my indie sleaze era, honestly. I live in the year 2014, but I got a lot of clothes that kind of represent that style. I got this pack of socks and they're all just like mesh, and I feel like these would look so cute coming out of loafers or my Doc Martens, and like, oh my god, I just love them all. And I also just got some basic like thick white socks, and again, these are so thick, so soft, and I was definitely picturing wearing those with these Moo inspired loafers with the big chunky platform. They are so cute. Do y'all see what I mean when I say I'm in my indie sleaze era? Like, very that. But I have to put my little Hailey twist on indie sleaze, and I feel like this, like, it really just captures it. You know what I mean? Like, we're going for indie sleaze, but Lana at the Chateau Marmont, not broken down in a gutter. You know what I mean? So I absolutely love these glasses, and they come in a ton of colors. Also got these adorable coquette bow earrings. I've seen bow earrings everywhere, and I actually ordered some from other places, but they were just absolutely massive, like taking over my ear. And these are so dainty and cute. And if you like that kind of more coquette style, you will love the hair bow selection they have on Temu. Look at how pretty. I got this massive pack of these satiny hair bows. Every color you could ever want. I'm serious. Like, wow. I now have a coquette bow for literally every outfit. When you see me wearing all these bows over on Instagram, you'll know exactly where I got them. I also got this swim cover up. I have an LA trip planned soon to visit one of my besties who lives out there, and I knew that we'd be probably going to the beach, so I got this really cute like green mesh, almost like Y2K grunge, again indie sleaze kind of cover up, and it's really thick. Like, when I heard mesh, mesh and I saw the very affordable price. I was not thinking it was going to be this high quality, but she slays. And then I also got this little mesh top, like just adorable, basic. Spring, could be like winter with a little turtleneck underneath. I just love these like cutesy little layering pieces. And then I have two full outfits to show you. The first outfit here is this very indie sleaze, very Y2K, like split hem, asymmetric waist, long denim skirt, which is so trendy. I absolutely love it. Paired with this lace black long sleeve, just very neutral, very cute for winter going into spring, especially for my edgy girls. And then I have this adorable cherry sweater. I absolutely love it. It's like little cropped cardigan, and I paired it with this black denim midi skirt. I think this sweater with the black denim is just so cute. So slay, absolutely love it. And that is everything I got from Temu, and y'all, it is just the tiniest shrivelly fraction of the stuff that they have available over there. I mean, homewares, kitchen stuff, school supplies, clothes, makeup, personal care, like everything you could possibly imagine. It is so cool. So again, if you like anything that you see in this video, or you're just interested in getting a great deal, check out Temu's app down below and use my discount code and link to get that coupon bundle. Thank you so much to Temu for sponsoring this video, and now let's go ahead and get into the book recs. The short book that I want to start off with is a short story collection that's under 150 pages, and it was one of my best books that I read last year, and that is Bad Dolls by Rachel Harrison. Not only was this a very quick read, but it had a huge emotional impact across the 4 short stories. 3 out of the 4 of them made me absolutely sob. They all had this beautiful message underlying, really approachable and relatable voice, but without losing the horror vibe. It is definitely creepy, but they're very just like relatable. Like that is the word that really resonates when I think about Bad Dolls. Yes, it's horror. Yes, it is a little bit fantastical. Yes, it's thrilling, but at its heart, it is really beautiful commentary on things that I think a lot of women go through. Things like female friendship and questioning your relationship, people pleasing, generational trauma, just so many things that were commented on in this metaphor of horror, very similar to something like How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. If you like that book, it is really long. If you want like a little mini version of it with the same emotional weight, highly recommend Bad Dolls. And while we're on the topic, I might as well just mention the other book on this list that made it into my best books of 2023. That is Disseverment by Z.C. Kroll. This is a super short horror story. I believe it's 60 pages, so it can be read in like an hour or so. And it follows this man who is kind of estranged from his family at this point. They have a little bit of a strained relationship, but he gets a letter from his mother's new husband, like his stepdad, who he's never met before, and he also is thinking about getting engaged to his partner, and he sees this as kind of like an opportunity to reconnect and rebuild before he starts his life with his partner. So he has some reservations, but he goes to check it out and reconnect, and there's a lot that happens that he was not prepared for. It is super dark, kind of triggering, really creepy. There is a ton of body horror in this book, but the thrilling pace of it definitely feels like a fast-paced thriller. I was in a slump when I read this book, and it completely 100% cured me out of it. When I read this, I was literally reading short horror after short thriller after short horror after short thriller, just trying to find something to break that slumpy feeling, and Disseverment is the thing that did it. There is some really meaningful commentary without losing that pace and just the extremity of the horror in here. I don't know if this is necessarily categorized as extreme horror, but I definitely think it could be. It's definitely on the lighter end, and it doesn't have those Hallmark weird things that a lot of extreme horror books seem to have. So it gets a A+, 5 stars. One of my best books of the year. Next up, I want to recommend you The Test by Sylvain Nouvelle. This is, again, super short. It's 100 pages almost exactly. And I would recommend this one for sci-fi readers who are in a slump. This is like a horror thriller, but it is leaning more sci-fi. It kind of feels like an episode of Black Mirror. So if you're a sci-fi fantasy kind of girly and you're looking for something a little bit shorter, a little bit punchier to get you out of your slump, but you still want to stay kind of semi within your genre, this would be a great option. It is set in the not too distant future, kind of like Black Mirror is, but there is a reality in which this could happen. We are following people take a citizenship test, but it kind of goes off the rails. It is not your typical history questions. It is a lot of moral dilemmas that could have real life disastrous consequences if you answer them the wrong way. The twists and turns in this book had me hooked. I thought I was gonna read half of it and then put it down to go do something, and I ended up just sitting and binging this entire book in one afternoon because I could not stop reading. And again, I say entire book, it was literally 100 pages, so super fast, easy to read, and it still had that emotional impact. I love reading short, punchy books that can get me out of my slump, but I don't want to sacrifice the commentary and meaning that I like to get from my literature. So this one, along with the past couple recs, I mean, it's just perfect for that. Next up, I want to talk about something for the romance girlies. If you're in a romance slump, which I was for like all of last year, it can be really challenging to find a romance that has the same pacing as something like a thriller that will get you out of that slump. I want to recommend, and I know this might be controversial, Never Never, the 3-book trilogy, obviously 3 books in a trilogy, by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. Now, I've read from both of these authors and I haven't really loved much from either of them, but something about like 2 wrongs coming together just like made a right or something. I don't know. There was like a crack in the universe because I loved Never Never. Yes, it has the like cringy, over the top cheesiness that Colleen Hoover is kind of known for, but Taryn Fisher is a thriller writer and I think she brought a lot of her pacing and knowledge of the thriller genre to the Never Never books. They are 3 super short novellas. I believe the first one is like 80 pages, the second one's like 50, and the last one's 100. So it's kind of cool to follow the little trilogy and feel like you're reading a lot of books back to back when they're just short novellas. And we are following these 2 kind of like star-crossed lovers, 2 high school kids, and I believe it's set either like in the past or in the future. It's kind of like blurry when it's set because there's an old-timey kind of like a Riverdale feel to it, but it's also kind of futuristic in the situation that's going on because something has happened and the 2 of these lovers have completely forgotten who they are and how they're connected to each other. They just know that they woke up one day knowing nothing about anything, the world, themselves, nothing. The only thing they know is that the other person is gonna get them through and help them figure out who they are. So it's kind of this like over-the-top dramatic love story, but it also feels like there's a real mystery element to it and it has the pacing of a thriller. Again, these are not like my favorite books by any means, but I had so much fun with them and they definitely got me out of a slump. Next up, I want to talk about a book that is super intense. I don't know how many people would benefit from getting out of a slump with this book, but I did. If you like really dark, really extreme, really horrifying content, you will like this book, but I definitely wouldn't categorize it as extreme horror. There's no excessive gore or blood. There's just a lot of dark material in here, and that is Living Dead Girl by Elizabeth Scott. This book is about 170 pages, and the chapters are super short. I mean, like 1 or 2 pages at most. So the pacing is really quick, and we are following the heart-pumping, thrilling tale of a girl who has been kidnapped. She's been living bound with her kidnapper for years, but finally she sees a little opportunity for escape, and we are following her as she tries to do that. It is heart-pumping. You feel for this girl. It is super dark when you find out what has been happening to her, but the pace that keeps it going is just your motivation to see this girl get out of there. It's dark and sad, but at the same time, there is this driving force of our main character's agency. She hasn't felt it in so long, and she's finally getting in touch with it. This was a 5-star book for me, and I feel like it's so underrated, but it definitely got me out of a slump. Next up, let's talk about one of my favorite books of all time, and that is One Bloody Thing After Another by Joey Como. This book is so weird, and again, one that's so underrated. I never hear anybody talk about this book, but I constantly recommend it. Like, I want to shove this book down everyone's throat. If I could have a book that like the whole world was required to read, it would be this book. I love it so much. It's only 165 pages, but man, a lot happens on this 165 page journey. If you like weird horror, like something like Bunny by Mona Awad, I think you would really like this because it has that kind of trippy feel, but it's more rooted in reality than something like Bunny, and it has this level of dark comedy along with the thrilling pace and the horror that keeps you kind of grounded and makes the whole reading experience feel quicker and more engaging than the usual trippy horror that I read. It's definitely not skewing towards something literary like A Certain Hunger. Again, that pacing is just so different. It combines my favorite things about literary, weird, feminist horror and the like breakneck pace and funniness of a thriller. We are basically following this little girl who is in an adolescent crisis. We've all been there. We just want to scream and murder everyone on the face of the earth because you cannot understand what's going on in your little body. And like, our main character is having feelings for her female best friend, which are really confusing for her. So she is coming into her queerness, but with a lot of just adolescent feelings that manifest in odd and horrifying ways. We're also following the neighbors of this little girl and the girl who is the, I guess, recipient of her affection, who also has something weird going on in her house with her mom who wants to feast on flesh. Like I said, a lot going on in this little novella. It is action-packed, so funny, so dark, great commentary, great queer rep. I am obsessed with it. I will never stop recommending this book. Next up, let's talk about Waif by Samantha Kolesnik. If you want a book to just slap you in the face and come out of nowhere with a massive twist, this is it. Now, it is extreme horror, but again, I just don't think it hits with the same depravity of other extreme horror because it has a lot of intention behind it. So while it is horrifying, it doesn't feel like it catches you unawares with a lot of misogyny, slurs, or just like unwieldy devices that can be kind of central to the genre. I think Samantha Kolesnik is so talented in weaving this story. We start out with a woman who is in an abusive relationship, and we're trying to get her to get out, and she kind of comes up with a little bit of a dark and manipulative way to do that by preying on her narcissistic husband's insecurities and manipulating him into getting these plastic surgeries to make himself perfect that end up leading down a road I guarantee you will not be expecting. This book goes absolutely off the rails. I stayed up till 2 in the morning because I wanted to finish it, but it was also so quick. I listened to the audio, I believe it was 4 hours long. So again, super quick. I started it at night just thinking, oh, I want to get into this, and then I literally had to finish it. I couldn't put it down. Something else that's great if you love audiobooks is really the entire creature feature selection on Kindle Unlimited. There's this grouping of horror authors that I guess were contacted, I don't know, to write like little mini creature feature stories. In this bundle, there is one by Grady Hendrix, there's one by Josh Mallerman, there's one by Chandler Baker, and a few other authors in there, but I really loved the one by Josh Mallerman. Each novella is really short, under 100 pages, and it follows some type of creature. They go really fast. They're just like a quick little hit to get you out of that slumpy feeling, and the ebook and the audio are both available through KU. Next up, I have some YA for you. We have Full Tilt by Neil Shusterman. This book is just at 200 pages, so still pretty short, but longer than the rest of the books that I'm mentioning in this video. And we are following this thrilling story about an amusement park that suddenly appears and taunts this group of kids. And they kind of remind me of like the friend group from Stranger Things, when one of the kids decides to go into this mystical amusement park. He ends up trapped there, and his brother and the rest of the friend group have to go in and try to save him. And in order to save him, they have to make it past, I think, like 6 or 7 carnival rides, where the horror, the thrills, and the meaning behind each one gets increasingly more high stakes, darker, and deeper. It was so good. Again, this is a book that is really thrilling, really fast paced, but doesn't lose the meaning and commentary. Yeah, I know not every book has to mean something, but for me, that is just what I prefer. It makes me feel like my reading time is actually worthwhile, and this one definitely is. And my other YA rec on this list is for my murder mystery lovers, and that is Killjoy by Holly Jackson. This is the prequel to the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy, which I loved the first 2 books in that series. I gave them both 5 stars. The third one, we don't need to talk about her. As far as I'm concerned, this is the 3rd book in the trilogy. In this prequel, we're following Pip and all of her friends as they have this murder mystery dinner party. But people start actually getting picked off one by one, and we are trying to figure out who the killer is. It is, I believe, like 100 and something pages. Yeah, it's only 120 pages, so it's super fast, and it has those fun YA murder mystery vibes, but it doesn't have the cringiness. That's what I love about Holly Jackson. Her YA never reads as cringe, so I highly recommend it. Next up, I have a short story collection for you, and that is A Blackness Absolute by Caitlin Marceau. This is just a little horror story collection. It's under 140 pages, and we have 9 different short stories in here. These, some of them are meaningful and some of them are just straight up creepy. Each one is like hovering around 10 pages, so they're really quick. And I just love Caitlin Marceau's writing style. She is so talented. If you're looking for a quick, kind of like feminist skewed horror short story collection, this is it. Next up, I have one of my favorite thrillers to recommend when someone's in a slump. When anyone asks me, what should I read? How do I get out of this slump? This is the #1 rec that I give, and that is Run on Red by Noelle West Ely. In this book, we are following 2 girls who are on their way to a party. They're just gonna like have a good time, hang out with boys. I believe it's like Y2K setting, and if not, it like feels like Y2K setting. They have like their digital cameras and their low-waist jeans, and they're like in their convertible on the way to a beach party. But they notice someone following in their rear view mirror, and when their car starts having trouble, they start feeling like they're actively being pursued by these men in this truck. And it is a fast-paced, heart-pumping escape story trying to help them get away from these men when we have no idea who they are and what harm they want to do with them. This story takes so many twists and turns, super fast paced, really hard to put down, not super meaningful, but very effective at bringing the fun and getting you out of a slump. And I believe that this one was on KU when I read it. Hopefully it still is. If you're a fan of something like No Exit, you're gonna absolutely love Run on Red. And And I have another thriller rec for you. This one is under 250 pages. It is The Good Lie by A.R. Torre. In this book, we are following a psychologist, and she is going to testify at this murder case for a serial killer. And in this case, she's going up against the defense attorney who is the father of one of the killer's victims. There is a lot of layered subplots going on in this book about our main character's career and how she does psychological research on serial killers, about her connection to the killer, about the defense attorney and his son and the murder case there, and then all the other victims of this killer. Plus, of course, with A.R. Torre, there is a little romance subplot as well. All of those layers just kind of come together and create a really twisty, fast-paced story that is perfect to get you out of a slump. Next up, I want to recommend Petrified Women by Jeremy Ray, I believe is the name of this author. Jeremy something or other. And this story was kind of crazy. Like, it's about 100 and something pages, like between 90 and 110 pages, and it was kind of wild. It has that fast-paced, heart-pumping feeling because we're following a girl who is sneaking into her boyfriend's apartment to try to like prank him, but while she's hiding out, like waiting to jump out and say like, surprise, hey, gotcha, she finds out that he has another girl in there. But he's not just cheating on her. Nah, he's about to kill this other girl. She finds out her boyfriend is a serial killer as she's waiting about to surprise him. Just imagine that for 1 second. So we are following her hiding in the closet as she does not want to be discovered by her man, and she doesn't know what to do because if he finds out that she knows, that girl's dead. That is what kind of sets the pace for the story, but again, there are so many other layers to it. Are the layers interweaved as effectively as they are in The Good Lie? That I don't know. I think with this one, there should have been maybe a few less things going on, but regardless, I still enjoyed this book. I think it had a lot of worthwhile things to say, especially regarding trauma, so look up trigger warnings. But either way, it was fast-paced and really thrilling, so it would be great to get you out of a slump. And my last short recommendation for this video is We Need to Do Something by Max Booth III. This was one of my favorite books of 2022, and I still recommend it all the time. It is apocalyptic horror, and it's kind of like locked door vibes. There's a very frantic, panicked, claustrophobic feeling to reading this book, and it makes you want to read faster to get out of that claustrophobic space. The psychological horror is so effective, but it also has that like post-apocalyptic, kind of like vague, nebulous feeling of something like Bird Box or A Quiet Place. If you like the Quiet Place movies, oh my god, you're gonna love this. It's about a family who is sheltering in place in their bathroom during this massive storm. The storm is not exactly what they were expecting, and it ends up being what could possibly seem like the end of the world. They're trying to get out of the bathroom to see what exactly is happening outside, but a massive tree fell on their house and kind of like locked them in their bathroom. So they are trying to survive and also figure out what's going on as they are trapped in there all together, and some of them are starting to act a little bit sketchy. I know this type of like weirder horror is not everybody's cup of tea, and the movie is very divisive with the ending, but I feel like this is like a love it or hate it kind of book, and I absolutely loved it, especially with the like high stakes, panicked feeling and fast pace. This horror is just so effective and totally unmatched, in my opinion, for apocalyptic horror. So with that, those are all of my short, fast-paced book recommendations to get you out of a slump or to reinvigorate your reading. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Temu down below and download their app to shop my haul. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to go to therapy and read a book this week, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!